standing over there and stretching. Well, for every working parent, and I don't like to only say working mother, for every working parent, because every parent needs to contribute, to the upbringing of their children and to running homes and families. For every working parent, there's a lot of juggling required because your work life and your personal life, and you gotta make them all meet. You gotta make them all make sense. So that juggle is is real, and that juggle is a struggle for each and every working parent. And I think we all keep coming up with new normals and new positions in our life, and we have to keep finding a formula for that particular point in our lives. So when I was simply a married woman who was working, and I was doing a lot of cricket, and I was traveling for 6 weeks and 4 weeks at a time, people would say, "Acha, how do you manage your personal life and your working life?" And I'd say, you know what, it's so hard. We have to find time for our spouses, and we have to find time for our work, and we have to focus on career and family. And that was my normal at that time. And then I became a parent, and then my focus was my child, and yet I am a working person. So then I had to find a formula at that particular point of time where I would work, and my work makes me travel a lot. So I would work and I would travel, but yet I would make enough time for my son, who needs me, right from when he was an infant to a toddler. Then I have also adopted little girls, so I'm a parent of two, and girls require a different kind of attention and a different kind of energy. So then that's a new normal, and then you have to find a formula for that time. Now I'm a single parent, and I have to find time, energy for both my children. I still want to work because work is what drives me, what keeps me going. So it's a new normal. We all have to keep finding ourselves in, and we have to keep finding that formula. This is the formula for now. This works for me. When I newly became a single parent, I have to tell you, it was very hard for me. At that particular point of time, I couldn't leave my children. I would be like, how do I leave my children and go and work? And now that it's been almost 3 years since my husband passed away, I am now confident to leave my children, and I have my systems in place, so I have a new normal right now. So we all have a space we find ourselves in where we need to find our formula. And believe me, that juggle that I talk about, it's a struggle for me, it's a struggle for you, it's a struggle for every working parent. So you find your formula, and your formula can change, from week to week, or month to month, or even on a yearly basis. You all have 9 to 5 jobs. You go to my work is such that I could be working on a Wednesday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, and those weeks are very, very hard because I'm away from my children on the weekend. So my formula changes on a weekly basis, but I find that formula, and I forge ahead with that formula.
Amazing. I think you've been an innovator, I would say, innovating yourself, finding yourself, discovering yourself, I would say.
Yes.
And doing
But
what
don't
best.
we all have to do that? We have to do that on a regular basis. We keep finding ourselves in new situations. The only thing that is constant is change. You know that, it's a cliche. But as we keep changing, we have to keep moving with the times, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, there are two ways of looking at it. One is, you flow with it. Other thing, you take action. And what you're doing is you're taking action on it.
No,
And
but you
that's
also have to
amazing.
flow. I will tell you this, you also have to flow. Sometimes, you can see yourself in a situation, and you can resist it, or you can act upon it, but sometimes you just have to also go with the flow. So I believe it's a beautiful blend of going with the flow and saying, you know what, this is where life is taking me, and I need to go with it. And when you've gone with the flow, you say, okay, now that I'm here, I need to take action. So it's a bit of this and a bit of that. We're all a work in progress, aren't we?
Absolutely. Well, talking about juggling that you said, so there's one juggle that you always have, is a physical or the mental, what I say, health basically. So my next thing for you is, what do you think is more important to focus on first for anyone starting the fitness journey? Is it the mental health or the physical health?
Well, I would say that it's cyclical. But first up, you have to be in a good place mentally and emotionally to start a fitness journey. Right? You make decisions like that when you're in a good place in your head. Saying, okay, you know what, I want to start, I want to take my health into my own hands, I want to get fit. And whatever the motivation may be initially to do it, like I'll tell you, initially my motivation was I was invited to be a part of Khatro Ke Khiladi, Fear Factor. And I said, if I'm going to be on national television doing stunts where the entire country is watching me and Akshay Kumar is standing by, then I want to be fit doing it. I want to be, a strong contender. I don't want to just go over there and say, oh my God, I'm confronted with all of these, weird stunts. I wanted to be mentally, emotionally ready for it. And that's how I got into fitness. So whatever your motivation may be to begin with, nobody's judging. The important thing is you've got to be in a good place in your head to begin with, to embark on a journey of fitness. Now again, like I said, we go through many things in our life. There are ups and there are downs, and there are ups and there are downs. Now, you're in a good place in your head. You've gotten into this journey of fitness, and then something happens in your life, or or whatever, a dip happens mentally. So it's like a cycle. Good place mentally, you get into a good place physically, but then you could go into a bad place mentally, and then being in a good place physically helps you, So it's one feeds off each other, and one needs the other. And you could be having a six-pack abs, and you could be looking really fit, but if you're not okay emotionally, you're not okay mentally, you can't go ahead. So you need both. And in our lives are such that there are ups and downs, there are crests and troughs, and you've got to use physical fitness at some point to get you out of a mental and emotionally not good state, and you need your mental strength to keep you going. So I would say that one does not work without the other, and it's a cyclical process. One needs the other, and one cannot do without the other. It's
Absolutely.
as simple as that.
So it's not one versus the other. So
Not at all. It's one and the. I mean, what is physical? What is wellness? Wellness is physical health and mental health. It can't be one without the other. I mean, you could be in a great place mentally, but if you're not physically in a good place, then how are you well? How are you physically well? You could be physically in a good place, but if you're not okay up there, then that's also not wellness. So one needs the other, one feeds off the other, and I think you are in a good place generally if both mental, emotional, and physical health are in sync.
Amazing. Absolutely. Well, Mandira, you've come a long way from the time you stole our hearts in DDLJ as Preeti, right? So your career speaks volumes about persistence, and that's what we were speaking at the beginning also, and keeping oneself relevant. How do you manage to reinvent and innovate yourself all the time? Or,
Well, here's the thing, I don't think that reinvention is something that you set out to do. That, okay, you know what, I'm going to now become this, or I'm going to now do this, or I'm going to now embark on this journey because this is now the way everybody's going. I think reinvention is something that just happens naturally if you are aware of what's going on around you. You need to move with the times, like I just said. It's very important to move with the times. It's very important to, the only thing that's, like I said, the only thing that's constant is change. And with the changing times, you have to change as well. Reinvention is basically just a simple, it's like a response to the changing times, right? So whatever I've done in my life is not because I've set out, okay, now I need to do something new. Ab mujhe ek naya gig chahiye. It's not like that. And even fitness, even this space that I'm in right now is not something I intended to get into. Fitness was my my passion ever since 2008, standing in front of Akshay Kumar, wanted to look fit. So whatever my motivation was, I stuck with it. And because I stuck with it, and if there's anything that you're passionate about and you give your energy to and you stick with it and you keep on sticking with it, it becomes a part of your being, and you can get good at it, and then you can become something connected to it. You know, it's not like something I planned, but because I gave so much energy and passion to fitness, because it meant so much to me and because I enjoyed it. When you give energy and your time to something and you keep on at it and you keep on at it, it becomes a part of who you are. And I didn't plan for it, but it became a part. I like it when people say, when people ask me, how do you like to be introduced? So some people give these long paragraphs. He read out a very long paragraph about me. But
I didn't ask you.
But how do I like to be introduced? I like to be introduced as in literally 4 or 5 words. I'm an actor, first. I'm an anchor, second. I'm an author. I've written a book. It's called Happy for No Reason. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So actor, anchor, author, and fitness enthusiast. Because I'm a fitness enthusiast. I'm not an expert. I love doing things connected to fitness. So it's moving with the times. I got into fitness before people on Instagram started posting videos. I posted videos because I used to like working out, or I still like working out, and I used to just share. And during the pandemic, I shared a whole lot more, saying, you know what, you can sit at home and you can, also work out. Post pandemic, I barely go to the gym because I've got a bunch of weights and kettlebells at home, and I train at home. So that's also moving with the times. You just things change and you change, and reinvention, I think, is almost like a natural process. It's just you responding to the times that are changing in front of you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I know what I liked, you spoke about energy. When you give energy, it's a common thing. You carry that energy.
Yes.
And that's so true.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you give energy, that energy becomes you. It's yeah.
So, success cannot be without, failures, right? And it cannot be easy always, right? And as per person, you have faced life-changing challenges. We know about that, right? And true inspiration to so many single mothers out there. Now, how do you motivate yourself when going gets tough? Tell us your secret behind that constant smile that you have.
Okay, thank you very much. I have to say your questions are very different from anything I've answered in the past. How do I keep myself going? I've been in this business for 29 years. That's a long time.
It's a long time.
And in entertainment, people keep saying that you have only this many limited years. You have a shelf life. I hate that word, shelf life. They say it about women, they don't say it about men. Because men, as they get older, keep romancing younger heroines, and women have a shelf life. So I've been in this business for 29 years, and I've seen a lot of highs, I've seen a lot of lows, be it in my professional life, be it in my personal life. And what being in this business has taught me is that the highs are also passing, the lows are also passing. So the highs are so high, and you're like, wow. Post the cricket, I used to walk into a room and people would stand up and clap when I started doing cricket. And then there are times, and public memory is also very short. They remember you for just your last, whatever you did, right? So the highs are high, the lows are low. And I've always, well, not always, I've learned over time to say to myself that this too shall pass, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. So you've got to find yourself in a place that's somewhere in between, in a space of equilibrium. So the highs don't excite you too much, and don't, because sometimes when things are going so great and you're on a high, you kind of lose perspective.
It gets in your head.
Yes, it does. And even when the lows are low, you again lose perspective, and the lows can hit you really badly. You crash. So I try and find myself in a space of, this middle ground, and that's what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me going. And I read this somewhere. I don't know who to attribute it to. So one mantra that I hold very dear to me is, "This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass." But the other important thing is, which I read somewhere. I wish I could attribute it to someone, that every storm runs out of rain. At some point, that storm will run out of rain. So just know that this too shall pass. The good times also pass, the bad times also pass. Find yourself in that place in the middle. And for me, very, 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 very important, it rates very high in my scheme of things, authenticity. I try and keep myself grounded. I try and keep myself as authentic. So what you see me backstage talking to you and what you see me on stage talking to everybody is pretty much the same thing.
That's right.
In our business, I don't know why people give the weirdest kind of advice. They say कि आपका पब्लिक पर्सोना कुछ और है और आपका प्राइवेट पर्सोना कुछ और है, आप ऐसे हैं और वैसे हैं, आप दोनों को अलग रखिए, आप हमेशा लेट पहुंचिए. मैं लेट नहीं थी, मैं 6:15 से रेडी हूँ. आपको बता देती हूँ, आई एम नेवर लेट, आई एम अर्ली इन फैक्ट.
Actually, she was actually
People say
very early.
land up late, because you know what? People don't value you if you show up early and if you show up on time. I'm like, what kind of advice is that? So authenticity rates very high, and I think people appreciate that what you see is what you get. What I am, off stage is what I am on stage. And I mean, these are the things, these are the values I hold dear to me. These are the ones that keep me going. And most importantly, and this is something I love to sort of end my talks with, so I'm letting you know this is kind of ending our conversation. The last and most important thing that I like to say to everybody, I have a superpower. Apart from the workouts that I do, I have a superpower. And that superpower is called gratitude. I am a believer, I'm a practitioner of gratitude, and that is what keeps me going. During the pandemic, we all realized, we couldn't go out, we couldn't do things, we couldn't travel, we couldn't even go to the stores and buy stuff that we want to meet our friends. And at the end of the day, what do we work for? What do we work for? We work for the food on our table, the roof on our heads. So during the pandemic, I really started practicing gratitude. And to this day, every single morning, before I open my eyes, this morning as well, before I open my eyes, I say thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the food on my table. Thank you for my children's health. Thank you for my parents' health. Thank you for my able body, that I can work, that I can exercise. That's what keeps me going. So if you don't say thank you, and when you wake up and say thank you, it colors your day. You start your day with a very, very positive attitude. Gratitude is amazing. And the other thing I've read, and I wish again I could attribute it to someone, it's one of those quotes that's just floating in the air. I'd like to say it's mine, but it's not. Whenever and wherever there is gratitude, whenever and wherever you're feeling truly grateful, you cannot feel anger or negativity or unhappiness at the same time. Whenever and wherever there is gratitude, there's no room for unhappiness. So when things have gone wrong, if you focus on all that is as opposed to all that isn't, whenever you're feeling grateful, you can't feel negative, you can't feel angry, you can't feel depressed and sad. So that's what keeps me going. And I've seen a lot of downs in my life, and in those moments it's very hard to practice gratitude. Saying, you'd rather say, why is this happening to me? But instead, if you say, you know what, I'm going to focus on all that is. My parents are healthy, thank God. My children are healthy, thank God. That's the first thing you say thank you for, because without health we have nothing. I am healthy, that I can take care of them. I am working, I'm relevant, I love what I do. Thank you. So gratitude is actually is my driving force. Gratitude is what keeps me going. I feel grateful for every single moment. I'm grateful for this moment where I'm standing and I know this audience is taking in what I'm saying and appreciating what I'm saying. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So if you're grateful for the small things and the big things, there's always so much to be grateful for, right?
Absolutely.
That's what keeps me going. That is the secret behind my smile. That is what is the secret behind my energy. Gratitude.
Thank you so much. That was really lovely, very inspirational. Thank you so much, Mandira. And I think for me, there are two things I'm really taking away today. One is the shelf life. There is no shelf life. We'll see in your career.
Hey, for men, there isn't a shelf life anyway.
But, the age thing about we've been turning to 50, 60, we can't work out or we can't take care of our health.
Age is just a number.
That's
You
a number,
are
absolutely.
as young or old as you feel, and you put enough energy into fitness and exercise, you can reverse your age.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you that.
That's one thing. And the second thing is whenever in difficulty, this too shall pass. So that's the thing I'm taking away today from me. And I'm sure all of you are taking
Also,
away something today.
gratitude.
That's a big one.
Gratitude, so I'll tell you about this book. My book is called Happy for No Reason. I'm not plugging my book, I'm just telling you, happiness is something, normally we look for it outside of ourselves. We look for it in people, in things, in situations. But happiness is something, joy is something we have to create from within, right? So that's why my book is called Happy for No Reason. I want to, it's an intent I put out every day. I can't say I'm always there. I want to be happy for no reason. I want to feel that happiness from within, regardless of what's on the outside. And in the book, I ended on gratitude. I'm saying this to you because you didn't say gratitude is what you're taking home.
No, absolutely.
Because gratitude is what you should be taking home, because that's the
big
most
one,
important thing.
absolutely.
People say, we don't know how to, अरे यार, life में ये चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है, क्या किस चीज़ के लिए thank you बोले. So I ended my book with a chapter on gratitude, and I ended that chapter on gratitude with a list of, things to be grateful for, because people don't know how to say thank you. Like they don't know what. So you should say thank you for the basic things like health and homes and our jobs, the jobs that we have. We're so grateful for the jobs we have, right? So we have to say thank you for the big things, and also say thank you for the small things that God invented. Like somebody invented deodorants. That's an important thing. I'm grateful for that. It makes our interactions with people so much better. I'm so grateful for good Wi-Fi. I'm so grateful for these OTT platforms that now allow you to download shows and you can watch them on flights. So there's so much to be grateful for. The big things, the small things. If you actually put your mind to it, there's lists and lists of things you can be grateful for. Keep a gratitude journal if you can, and every day say, these are 3 things, and every day you'll be able to find 3 new things to say thank you for, and nothing is off the table, the small and the big. So.
And I'm thankful that I'm here listening to you.
It's caught on. It's caught on. Very well done.
Perfectly. I think amazing. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for Mandira Bedi.
Only one question from Mandira.
I'm taking questions at the end of the workout.
Which Mandira will be always close to you? Shanti ki Mandira, Cricket Maidan ki Mandira, या fitness मैदान की मंदिरा?
मंदिरा की मंदिरा. वो अलग अलग रोल्स थे. मैं जो हूँ वो मैं हूँ. And I think that's the one that I like, that people need to see and people need to know. I enjoy all those roles, and I'm again very grateful. Imagine, Shanti was such a lovely show. It was the first ever daily soap on Indian television, being the first presenter of cricket. I'm so 20 years ago, ये जैसे action replay अभी हुआ. Dream road to the finals, and then Australia thrashes us in the finals. It happened in 2003. It's happened in 2023. But that was a wonderful experience back then. The cricket. ये 29 years में बहुत कुछ हुआ है, और वो अलग-अलग अवतार थे. This is me, and I enjoy this version of me the most. And again, I say age is just a number. The work I'm doing right now and the things that I get to do right now are possibly the best that I've done in my 29 years. So I am grateful for that.
Awesome. Well, I think after so much of inspiration, what we need to do is get into action, right?
Right.